I thought it was a good team win. We had contributions from a lot of guys that came in the game. Defensively, we had some moments where we really, really played well and got our hands on the basketball and played with aggressiveness. There were some other moments where, we were able to kind of let them get loose for outside shots. But I thought at halftime, our guys responded well. You could kind of tell that our guys were feeling a little tired just from the week. But, when you're an older guy and when you have a level of poise and toughness to you, you just find more. And I thought that's what our guys did.
Cedric, go ahead and start us off.
Shaka, I just had to ask you about Greg's dunk. I know he's pulled that off many times in high school and in practice. I know you're a psychology guy, and I noticed you left him in the game. Was it because you actually played one of his better games and you wanted to send that positive message to him?
No, the only reason I left him in the game is because Courtney, I had a sub that I had sent to the table to sub for him. And Courtney was adamant that he stayed in. So, it's important to listen to your leaders. And I thought Courtney did a great job leading all day. So, we went with that. But at the end of the day, we need 2 points, in that situation. So hopefully we can learn from that.
Roger, go ahead.
Shaka, when you think about how this week, developed, what happened in the middle of the season, the guys go out and take care of 3 games in a week. And you said you thought they were a little tired. We were talking to the guys. They said they had some pretty good ones. But anyway, just how impressive were you with the guys and the way you guys were out this week?
Yeah, our guys just did a really good job staying on message in terms of what they were saying to each other. They sounded like coaches out there with the things they were saying, and they stayed together. We're up 4 at half, and you could tell, those guys wanted to be up more. But, you go on the road and, you're up 4, and it's about, coming out of halftime and winning those first 4 minutes of the second half. And we did that, and we were able to extend the lead. I thought, the guys did a good job sharing the ball with each other. This was one of our best games in terms of passing and creating for each other. And the assist number shows that.
Dustin, go ahead.
Shaka, another game where you guys seem to turn the tempo and the pace of the game in your favor, partly because of some pressure defense in the 3/4 court and the full court. Is that something y'all have been working on more in practice recently, or was this kind of just a matchup dependent thing?
We have, actually, Dustin, coming into the week, I don't know much, but sometimes I get something right. So I told the guys the press is going to help us, win at least 1 game this week. And I thought up at Iowa State, absolutely, what was a difference maker. And then today it allowed us to extend the lead for sure. So, people always ask me, why don't you press 100% of the time, all the time? And the reality is, like, when our guys are, flying around and great activity, it's really good. But on a possession where they're not, against a really good Big 12 team, Mike Miles can go down the lane and dunk the ball. So, it's always it's kind of a trade-off when you go back and forth. But I thought overall it was really good for us.
Bob, go ahead.
Chuck, I think I heard you say in the postgame this was Greg's best passing game that he's had. And a couple of games ago, you said it was his defense that really stood out to you. When do you think it kind of clicked for him that if he's going to be a really good player, he has to do it on the defensive end, on getting rebounds, finding his teammates, that kind of stuff? And then second, Matt just said sometimes he doesn't make himself happy. He worries about making everybody else happy, but he forgets to make himself happy sometimes. Do you see that in him as well?
Yeah, absolutely. He's a very selfless guy. But at the end of the day, you have to have a level of self-compassion, so that you forgive yourself for when something doesn't go well. I'm hard on him. I'm probably harder on him than anyone. So I have to remember that as well, because, we need him to be confident and aggressive. And I thought in the second half, he really was. I mean, he really attacked and created a lot of good plays. In terms of Greg, it's a learning process. I would love to say it's just this linear process where it's up and up and up and up and up, but it doesn't necessarily always work that way. When he's able to lose himself in, the game plan and the competition and his teammates and trying to win, I think he's really good. I think he's significantly better than he was at the start of the year. Sometimes other circumstances kind of can weigh on a young guy's mind. So we just got to continue to help him with that. But I thought he did pass the ball really well from the standpoint of 4 assists. He really values that part of his game. He wants to be more of a playmaker. So it's good to see him, find some guys, especially Jericho.
Got time for 3 last quick ones, so keep it to 1 each. Brian, go ahead.
Shaka, 3 Big 12 road wins in 6 days. You finished 3rd in the league by yourself, highest finish in 6 years. Do you believe this momentum is real?
Well, if we capitalize on it, Brian, I think it is. I mean, it's all about, when you do something that you set out to do, like this week, winning 3 games, can you take the positive aspects of that? Our guys, for instance, in these 3 games, were really, really good in huddles, communicating with each other and encouraging each other. They have an understanding that's beyond what any of us have of what each other's going through. So I think when they have that encouragement and helping each other with response, it's huge. So can we continue momentum? Yeah, if we learn that, hey, that really helps each other when we do that. Can we continue the momentum? Yeah, if we take the good things, the passing and the pace that we had in the second half, and we take that with us to Kansas City. Sometimes I think this is a case for all teams. Sometimes you need to be reminded of those things, and the player ownership of it is the big key, and that's something we'll continue to emphasize.
Westcott, go ahead.
Yeah, Shaka, I was just wondering about your perspective in practice on Greg making plays for his teammates and then driving right. Obviously he seems to feel much more comfortable driving left for whatever reason.
Yeah, he is. Although he's made progress going right. I mean, he's actually gone right a lot more this second half of the season than he did the first half of the season. He's certainly more, he's interesting because he's a right-handed player, but he's more naturally goes left. He really takes pride in making plays for guys, and that's something that he came in here wanting to do a lot of. And I think he's gotten better at it. I think he's improving. It's something he takes pride in. He's just got to continue to learn different situations, rotations of the defense, where to go with the next pass, how to get to 2 feet so that you don't travel or charge. But again, I thought, today he made some really nice passes, and it's every time, he makes those passes, it's something that we watch and we show to him, hey, let's do more of this.
Last one, Travis, go ahead.
Shaka, I know you don't want to look too far in advance, but if things go your way over the next month, you may not be home much, if at all, with the setup this year. Is there any way to kind of prepare for what maybe is ahead?
Well, that's unprecedented, for teams, just because normally in the NCAA tournament, it's a 2-game tournament and then you come home. And then if you're fortunate to advance, you go play another 2-game tournament. So this is different. The Big 12 tournament, we want to go up there and win 1 game at a time. We would love to be on the road for the next month, but it's one of those situations where, in both of these tournaments, there's single elimination. So in order to do that, it's about winning the game in front of us and then quickly turning the page. The best experience we have with that, I guess, was when we went to Asheville. We went there, obviously weren't there anywhere near as long, but I thought our guys did a really good job locking in the moment on one challenge and then quickly turning the page and attacking the next challenge.